A very good evening to everyone listening to me, wherever you're listening to me from, any part of the world. I want to say a very big thank you to you for joining us this evening. I don't know, maybe it's morning at your end or it's afternoon. No matter what time you are, a very good day to you, because I know it's a daytime, maybe even nighttime. Today on the show, we have some pressing topic to address, and I've got a team of capable experts. When I mean capable expert, I seriously mean capable expert, because I've watched all these people demonstrating, speaking, and they are qualified to speak in that ramification about the subject we want to talk about today. So, without much to do, I would like to introduce to you my guest today. But before then, the question I want to pose today is the 1996 coup the genesis of Nigerian problems? Not problem, but problems. So we will be taking some speech from an earlier event we had where Pa Ayo Adebanjo was hitting the nail right on the head. We have Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as well, in which they ask him, is it possible for so-called Nigeria in court to either go separate way without a war? Because the program we're on today is Never Again. They were referring to the 51 years of the end of the Biafran Nigerian war. So today on the program, I have, like I said to you, formidable force of people that knows what they can talk. They qualify. And when I mean qualified, they're very, very qualified to talk about this subject today. And in the persons of the following, these are my guests tonight. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hi.
I am very partial. I put a lady next to me. who don't like the 13? Guys, before they introduce themselves, if you're joining us for the first time today, please, wherever you're watching the program from, it doesn't matter which medium, which platform you're watching it from, please like that platform, share it, and if there's a need to subscribe to that platform, please subscribe to it, because you're going to get more of events like this on the program. So they said in England, ladies first. Let's go to my sister to tell us who she is. And when she say what she has to say, you will know why when I say that she's qualified to talk about subject. Welcome to the show, man.
Hi. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Your name and who are you?
And Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Annkio Briggs. I'm from the Niger Delta. I'm of the Ijaw ethnic nationality. I'm from a multiracial background. What else is there to say? I'm a very, very strong believer in identifying your ethnicity, because that is what makes me who I am, and identifying who I am in Nigeria as a Nigerian. So that's it. That's who I am.
That's summarizes it all. This woman, she's a very strong woman. When you see her speaking about this subject we are about to tackle today, you will know exactly what I am talking about. Very, very, very formidable. She knows her stuff and she talks about it passionately. I'm going to go to the next gentleman, the only gentleman with a car. So, that is CitienAY for you guys. CitienAY, who are you?
Good.
And what do you do?
First time speaking to everybody here. Happy New Year to everybody, and it's really an honor to be with my guest, esteemed guest here. I know Mrs. I'm really, it's a pleasure, and the other guests, of course. And so I doff my hat, as they say. I will do that first. Myself, you all know what I'm about. I speak about the Nigerian Constitution. I'm passionate about that, and of course, there are other stories around that, including the coup and everything else, which we're close. So I am very much, clear about my own identity, very much like my other state said here. We need to know our cultural identity, be sure of who we are. And the danger of what we have now is this Nigeria is taking that away from all of us. So please, let's dig into this. Let's explore that. Let's be really clear of who we are. That way we can be sure of our place on this planet. So my name, of course, is CitienAY, and it's a pleasure to be on here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, CitienAY. I really love the way you've done it. So, my able other two guests, I will probably go to Billy first of all. I don't want to introduce him, but if he introduces himself and he doesn't do it well enough, then I will go there and add anything that has been missed. Lawyer Billy, over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. This is Dele Ogun.
Chip in about the program for tomorrow, yeah?
Yes, I surely will.
Yeah.
This is Dele Ogun. I'm a corporate lawyer, London-based. I'm a historian, the author of the recently published History of Nigeria titled A Fatherless People, the secret story of how the Nigerians missed the road to the promised land. I'm also the convener of the Fatherland Group, which is organizing the Yoruba and Igbo conference titled Speaking with One Voice, which is taking place on Zoom tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
And not only on Zoom, it will be broadcast live on Heritage Television as well, in case everybody wants to that one. There's a registration on the Zoom one. So for you to be able to get on the Zoom, you need to register. And the spaces are getting full so quickly. Now I'm going to go to my brother, my one and only brother on the platform today. Everybody is my sister, but I only got one brother. Okay. In the name of Dr. Posse, over to you, sir.
Hello, good evening, everyone, from wherever you're watching this tonight. My name is Dr. Posse Olatubos. I'm from Southwest Nigeria, but currently based in the United Kingdom. I'm a UK academic. I'm the head of Department of Accounting and Finance in my university. And of course, that means that my background will be chartered accountancy. So tonight we will be discussing all these issues as it relates to citizenship, governance, and so on and so forth. And as I've always said on this program, all the views that I will be expressing is that of myself and not that of the university that I represent. Thank you.
Okay. Without much trouble and much hanging around, because there's no point in hanging around unnecessarily, should we start with this video of Pa Ayo Adebanjo, which we set us in motion, in a proper motion of where we want to go? Let's have a look at it.
So this program, I know they are all patriots of no mean order. And the purpose for which we set out is a very noble one. And as Kuka said, we have to know our past to be able to correct what mistake we have made. And I'm happy you have invited people who are present or who took part in the mistake of the past. So when we make a suggestion, they can understand that we know what we are talking about. I'm happy to be here, and I hope whatever we discuss here will be a lesson for our people and for implementation rather than talking rhetorics. What I believe is that there is no mistaken belief or mistaken idea about what our mistakes were. It is the courage to correct them. That is what we lack. People will make all sorts of analysis. This is what caused this, is what caused that. This is what we should do. But how do we do it? Invariably, they do it in the negative. That's the summary of the thing. What Pastor said now that, well, maybe if we go back to where we started, before the trouble came, we get peace. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is to go back to where we had peace until the trouble started. What caused the trouble? And as Kuka said in his speech, if we want to avoid the past, we must avoid the mistake of the past. The mistake of the past is that we are putting wrong peg in right hole. We deny people their rights. We say we are one and we discriminate against each other. So that's what I think you get rid of. And be honest with our analysis. Even those who claim sometimes to criticize or tell the government, they talk under their tongue, afraid to hit the nail on the head. We can thank God for people like Bishop Kuka, and I pray that he should live long, because people like myself, we have now a very short time to live. People from that part of the country saying it as it is. And I hope those who are listening should listen well with good intention. Let us stop paying lip service to one Nigeria. Let us stop paying lip service to a united country. We must say it and act it. You can't say you want a united country and you discriminate against another pound. And as I think Kuka said that some of the things we are talking about now, we are agitating for. It must be a thing of the past to have been taken for granted if we really want to stay together. Talking about where did the presidency go at this time, I don't know. If you want to be equitable, you want to have peace, and if you really want them to be here, why should somebody be a part of Nigeria and say he has no right to be the president of the country? Why should a section of the country claim that they will be choosing who will be the president and the condition, and you must pay obeisance to them? It's irritating. Such type of thing cannot continue and say we want to have peace. If you know what is right, we know what is right, and do what is right, there will be peace. There's enough for everybody to share. If you don't want to cheat. Well, let me stop there for now until let them make their point.
Baba said, let's stop there for now so that everybody can have peace. At the moment, some people want to dictate who is the president. President is not being chosen on merit basis. He's being chosen on our local, we're the next one. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing. So, should I give it to my sister first of all to talk about? And then we see how it goes from there. Let's start from the lady again.
Hello.
Hello, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but I mean, you wanted me to come in, and I've heard Pa Debanjo. Where do you want me to come in, please?
Okay, what Pa Debanjo said was that this is, you want us to be together, but you want to be the one controlling everything. Especially in reference to where you come from, the Niger Delta oil, that the people that doesn't produce anything is taking over, completely taking over and want to control. They want to be the dictator.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and listeners. I hope that are out there. Well, if like me, you were born before independence, then hopefully and then luckily you probably will have a good idea of how far Nigeria have come from your own experience as opposed to historically, because by historically I mean reading from history books, because our children or people born after I was don't have really a reference point for Nigeria's history, especially our history starting from independence, if you like. So, if you were aware of what Nigeria was like before independence, and definitely what led up to the war, then you will understand and appreciate why people like us will gather and want to continue to discuss the changes that are needed, and actually the changes that we must have in Nigeria if truly we want Nigeria to continue as we claim as a country, as one Nigeria. Now, I definitely recall what led up to the war, why the war was there. I definitely recall what Nigeria was like before independence, what it was like in my region where I come from. At that time, we were all under Eastern region, and just leading up to the Civil War, and immediately after independence, the call from the riverine, the areas and the Jaw areas of the what is today the Niger Delta, and what was then Eastern region started in earnest. Now, I come from a background and a family of politicians. Somewhere in NMP and NCNC, somewhere in Action Group. I remember those days. I remember what actually caused the war, and what then led up to the pogrom, or rather the coup of 1966, and then of course the Adakaboro declaration of war against Nigeria. So very clearly, we saw how the agitation that we seem to be in and are still in today started from the call for justice and equity, and then the war and all of that. So if today we are still discussing what our fathers and uncles and people like my dad, Adebanjo, we thank God that he's still very strong and very articulate, and we can still learn from him. And I was very privileged to be in the same committee at the national conference with him and people like late Tunji Braithwaite, who is also my father, who adopted me in the struggle. Unfortunately, with all these narratives and experiences, Nigeria we are yet to find ourselves in a place and a position where justice and equity and truth is going to prevail. And so almost 60 something years after independence, we still find ourselves in a position where we are definitely oppressed by people who claim that they are Nigerians, and the oppression is now very clearly coming from one side of Nigeria, coming from the north, where today we have a government headed by Buhari that has made sure that every other ethnic nationality in Nigeria is pushed to the side, and it is only one ethnic nationality or one religion that is dominating the discussion in Nigeria, that is dominating governance in Nigeria, that is dominating Nigeria. And so we find ourselves at this point in time trying to profess solutions that, quite honestly, it's very political, but really not answering the political questions that all of us want answered, and therefore we find ourselves in a position where we are trying to find solutions, and yet the one solution that will solve the problem, we tend to shy away from that. And what's that solution? That solution is that truly we must have a Nigeria that is structured, not even restructured. The other day I just told myself, you know what? Let me just drop the issue of restructuring Nigeria, because, like, you say restructure Nigeria as if it was something that we were okay with before we're now talking about restructuring. No, as a matter of fact, Nigeria has not been structured in a way that is equitable. So we won't restructure. Let's just structure Nigeria in a way that it will work. And if we cannot or refuse to structure it, then let's find another solution. In my opinion, hopefully we will discuss what that solution will be if we're not going to structure Nigeria on an equitable ground. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm gonna touch on house rule a little bit so that we can make it easy. When you're talking and I'm showing you alone, you can keep talking. If I show both me and you, means you need to start rounding up. If I show everybody, then you need to finally close it. I didn't say that before, so it's not my sister's fault. I take things for granted, which is not very nice to do sometimes. I want to thank you again for that submission. It was very, very comprehensive. Let me just correct some analogy here. I got a phone call that the registration is for the Fatherland Conference tomorrow that you have to register for. The Fatherland Conference tomorrow on Zoom, you have to register for that. We're going to show it on Zoom as well. There's another Zoom meeting tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Is the Yoruba Nation Now Zoom meeting. That is at 6 o'clock. They will be deliberating on the new petition and a referendum on that 6 o'clock meeting. So everybody is invited. If you check Heritage platform, at the bottom of this broadcast as well, I'm going to try and pin the link to that Zoom. You need to register. If you cannot get on the Zoom because of capacity, please, you can watch it on Yoruba Nation Now Facebook page and YouTube page tomorrow at 6. But the one at 3 o'clock, which is being convened by lawyer Dele Ogun, that one you need to register for that one to be able to get onto that one. Thank you very much. Let me go to a pressing question. The question is very pressing, and the reason I call it pressing question is that that question was asked of Mazi Nandekano earlier on today, and lawyer Dele Ogun was there. Lawyer Dele Ogun, do you think Nigeria will ever get restructured? Maybe a yes or no answer, lawyer Dele Ogun.
Well, a yes and no answer, or yes or no answer, is always a difficult one for such a deep question.
Okay. Yeah. Let's listen to you.
I heard what Kanu said, and I agreed with it in this sense. We do have options. Option number one is that we block our ears and we put our head in the ground, as we have been doing, like ostriches, ignoring the problems and the cracking noises that are all around, and pretending all is fine and everybody will just keep quiet. That option does lead to war as the only means of correcting what is wrong. But there's an alternative. The other option is that we unblock our ears, we lift our head out of the sand, we dialogue like reasonable, sensible people, and we come to an accommodation, an understanding, which is really what our conference tomorrow is directed at. So that is the longer answer to your question. But I do want to touch on some of the points that Chief Adebanjo made in his own submissions. He said we have to know our past to know where we went wrong. That is, of course, correct, because our history is part of our present. Anybody who denies that really doesn't know what they're talking about. When you watch history channels in England, still talking about not only the Second World War, First World War, and all the wars behind that, is not because they get excitement and joy out of talking about war. They are learning the lessons of the past. I disagree with Mrs. Briggs insofar as she's suggesting that you have to have lived at a given time for a different particular experience in order to understand it. I, as a historian, naturally would disagree with that. History is always evolving. And what you think you understand, because you're looking at a situation from on ground, when you look at it from a distance and in context, you get a completely different understanding. So if it is suggested that the reason for the war was the coup, then again, that's shallow understanding. The historians do the research, they join the dots, and you get the fuller picture. Chief Adebanjo also said that we have to go back to when we had peace. Well, when you analyze that as historians, when we had peace was before Nigeria. Before, at least as far as southern Nigeria is concerned, there was no war between the Igbos and the Yoruba, between the Yoruba and the Edo, between the Edo and the Igbos. So if you want to go back, and the Ijaw, when you want to go back, you go back to before Nigeria. And he also mentioned about all the talk about where the presidency should go in 2023. I agree with him. All that talk is nonsense, it's shallow, because the real solution, of course, is to make the presidency irrelevant. You make the presidency irrelevant by restoring a degree of sovereignty back to the nations as they were before the British put us all in one sack together. Now we're all struggling for the one seat, whereas before the artificial union, everybody had their own thrones, and that's why we were not struggling for the seat. Now, you can have Nigeria, but Nigeria needs to be restructured so as to be like Switzerland. Who knows the president of Switzerland? Who can name him? Nobody knows him. And yet Switzerland is a union of German-speaking people, Italian-speaking people, French-speaking people, Romance-speaking people, and one of the richest countries in the world in terms of per capita income. But nobody knows the president. It's because the presidency is not the center of power and authority. It is downstairs. That is what we mean about restructuring. There's a lot of talk about restructuring without people really understanding what it means. And this, again, is the work of historians and political scientists. I think that's all I want to say at this point.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate that. That was cool submission as well. I'm going to go back to Annkio Briggs in a bit, but before I go back to her, let's watch what Maxi Nnamdi Kanu said about what happened, and I hope we will learn and pick one or two things from this one here. Let's have a look at it.
Do not repeat the tragedy of the past. Thank you, Maxi Nnamdi Kanu.
Thank you, my dear brother Dele. Thank you very much. And also Mazi, the co-host of this very wonderful and unique forum. I want to acknowledge those that went before me, our elders, the two people that I actually have so much regard for, Paya Debanjo, and also our own father, Mbazilika Mechi, and also my regards and respect to Bishop Coker and all the rest of them that spoke. The fact of the matter is that we can break away without any rancor or need to go to war. We mustn't forget that there was a country called Czechoslovakia. Today, they are the Czech Republic and Slovakia. They never fought any war. And for us to properly contextualize this never again theme or scenario that people are talking about, we must go back to how we were before the white man came. There was no war between Biafran people and the Oduduwa people before Lugard came. There was no war between Biafran people and, say, the Fulanis from the north. Everybody minded their own business until the white man came and decided otherwise. Decided otherwise in such a way that even Igbo land itself is carved up into heaven knows how many states, even some of them in the north, as we speak. My own relatives from a Jaw land that we never fought any war with decided all of a sudden that we are no longer together or should be one as the people. All of these things are the vestiges of colonialism. And I blame it squarely on the shoulders of those that call themselves the founding fathers of Nigeria. And after them, those of them that call themselves rather laughably the elites. You don't have elitism in a place where there is no running water, no good roads, no good schools. Cattle headers are busy slaughtering and massacring people everywhere. And some people have the temerity to come out on national television or on this forum to say they are the elite. Elite of what and for what? What have you accomplished? Absolutely nothing. So all this vacuous elitism makes me very, very sick. I do not subscribe to it. My main point that I want to raise is a brief response to what Tanko Yakasai said a while ago. There seems to be this blame game going on in Nigeria. And as the bishop quite rightly said, it is called, I think in his words, if I'm correct, he called it relativism. When a crime is committed by a Fulani, there isn't much hoo-ha about it. If the same crime is committed by an Igbo person or by a Biafran, there seems to be an amplification of the implications of that very crime, regardless of how minuscule or irrelevant it may be in the wider scheme of things. Why am I saying this? You're telling me that you are in a country where the Fulanis have consistently been massacring people on a daily basis. First, they called them terrorists. Then they were called insurgents, and now they're called bandits. But you and I know that in the main, these are Fulani headers killing people. Nobody has ever suggested the designation of Miyetti Allah as a terrorist group. Absolutely none. You live in this sort of, under this climate, or should I say, atmosphere of impunity and lies. You witness these things every blessed day. And some people will have the guts or the temerity to talk about one Nigeria. Nigeria that came into existence only 60 years ago. How about the ethnic nationalities that existed before Britain was formed? The thing that we keep missing is this. Nobody has the guts to ever interrogate or challenge the deficiencies within Nigeria. And what do I mean by that? We never actually promulgated nor suggested any constitution in the first place. There is no Nigerian constitution. In other words, the ordinary public in Nigeria has no say in how they are governed. How then do you expect that country to move forward? How do you expect healing and reconciliation? How is that possible? You and I know it's never ever going to be possible. Yakasai and modern commentators keep harping about the 1966 coup. It was an Igbo coup, which of course is a lie. I would recommend that Elder Tanko Yakasai go back and read Ade Thomas' Why We Struck. One of the people that he mentioned, he wrote a book, Why We Struck. In that very book, it was made explicitly clear that what happened in 1966 was a revolution. And I make bold to say this. without casting any aspersions or degrading anybody. Only the South can carry out a revolution. Only the South. Because of how the North is structured. Their mindset, the way they reason, their value system cannot allow them to rise above what I call very primordial religious sentiments to carry out a revolution or a coup against their leaders. What happened in 1966 was a revolution, and in a revolution, there are bound to be casualties. What Yakasai was alluding to is the fact that no Igbo high-ranking politician nor army officer was killed in the coup. But the fact of the matter is this. Under Michael Okpara, we had the fastest growing economy in the whole of Africa, if not the whole of the world, 40% every blessed year. How can you kill such a person? The Savannah of Sokoto, Sir Ahmadu Bello went to Sandhurst in London to go and give a speech in England. To go and give a speech. In that very speech, when he came into the hall, he segregated all the cadets, all the people, actually, the so-called Nigerians at Sandhurst studying to become military officers. He said he wanted to address only the North. Only the North. Go through they talk about history all the time. But these same elites are the same people that connived and conspired to deny us history in our schools. Because they understand the implications. That was what actually led the likes of Nzoku to say that this type of people should not be at the helm of affairs in Nigeria. I give it to them in the North. The North was growing very well. So Ahmadu Bello knew what he was doing. Tafawa Balewa knew what he was doing. They all loved their people and they were developing at a very good pace, or should I say rate. But the fact of the matter is that there is nothing called one Nigeria. The sooner we rise up and face this reality better for us, or else our children and our students should be having these discussions in years to come. And that is not the way to go. In Russia, there was a revolution by the Bolsheviks. In France, there was a revolution. In England, there was a revolution. Cromwell cut off the head of King Charles I. Today, you don't hear the royal family saying, oh, people from Cumbria, where Oliver Cromwell comes from, should be denied access to good education because they rose up against the crown. In America, there was a revolution. In every revolution, people are bound to die. There's something happened in NSAS. During the NSAS protest, these same people introduced tribe and religion into it. And falsely claimed that those burning down properties out of anger and rage because of the killings at Tollgate in Lagos are all Igbo people. The same people. Talking about one Nigeria to make Nigeria better. How is that possible? When people cannot be honest with themselves. All of us participating today, we all know that the Constitution is flawed. We know that the 1979 Constitution, in fact, from 79 to 99, they are all flawed documents. You and I know that. Because it's the turn of your village. You want to rotate presidency, you want to start eating as other people, you want to start buying houses in Dubai, in the UK, and in America. You say, oh no, people, not in my turn. That is what they are doing. Once you're elected as a senator, as a governor, or whoever you are, you will say to yourself, not in my turn. Let me make that money that others have made before proceeding. You stay in a country, you are in a country where Omar Diko is the most corrupt individual out of Africa. He's a Fulani man. The families are now enjoying the loot, the money he stole. There was a man called Ibrahim Taher, if you have forgotten. This man burnt Nitel down at Marina after stealing all the money. And we are here pretending that somehow things can be better. It can never, ever be better. There is something called a referendum or a place beside. There must be a constitution formulated by the people, and that is the best way to go. Without it, these discussions will continue forever and ever, and Nigeria will remain as poorly and as deprived as it is today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mazi. Before you go, please, there is a fundamental question that we would want you to address, sending that have you reduced the entire Fulani to herdsmen who kill Southerners? Is it right? Is it fair to reduce all Fulanis to herdsmen who kill?
I am trying to pay them back in their own coin. Ojukwu went to Aburi to negotiate for the same restructuring we are talking about today, going back to the regions. Every Igbo man in the north, every Biafran in the north, and to an extent some Yorubas as well, we are tagged rebels, slaughtered and massacred in the north. What are the Fulani leaders doing about this spate of insecurity and terrorism in Nigeria? Only the Fulani are responsible for ISIS in West Africa, for Boko Haram, for Ansaru, for all the so-called Fulani headsmen, sorry, the bandits that you have in the north. You have Fulani governors paying Fulani people to come to Nigeria to kill. A Fulani governor, the one from Bauchi, openly said, we want to relocate all the Fulanis in the Sahel back into Nigeria. And we're here talking about one Nigeria as if we don't have any brain. Do they think we are stupid? We cannot reason very well. We know what the end game is. The more they mount unity, it is to allow you, to lure you into a false sense of security, so that the Fulanis across the Sahel can come in to settle. Are you not aware of the speeches that the Kaduna State governor made at the height of the slaughter of innocent people in southern Kaduna? What did anybody do about it? Absolutely nothing. You did nothing. When they hastily tagged IPOB, a terrorist group, with no evidence, all of you kept quiet. Nobody did anything about it. No. But Mietiala is busy negotiating with bandits, killing and raping people, and everybody is quiet. That is why we are different. And that is why we insist that the Fulanis are in cahoots as to what is happening in the zoo. They want to take over the entire country and make it the home of Fulanis in West Africa. Go and do your research very well. You see it there. And we are not going to allow it. It can't happen.
More northerners are killed today.
Okay. I think we have to take it off from there because it's getting interesting, isn't it? The truth can be bitter sometimes. Dr. Kwasi, is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is he saying the truth before we go back to the topic? Is he saying the truth, sir?
Absolutely. He's saying the truth 100%, 150%. There's nothing he is saying that is wrong. I agreed, 100% he's saying. But thank goodness that we now have, we're now, the information. It used to be that it's only NTA, from NTA that we get news that they will tell you unity and faith, peace and progress, and so on and so forth. But now we've democratized information. We can get information from anywhere, everywhere. Now we know the truth. Everything he had said there, I agree with 100%. The truth is, we are not the same thing. We're not the same. I'm talking of the three regions, but the South, there's still this cohesion within the South. But then, you see, when you look at, in terms of the problem, the foundational problem of that country, I've mentioned it before here, that whenever you face problems, there is a decision-making model that we normally, follow in management. We say that the first thing to do is to identify what the problem is. In fact, that's the same model that is followed in the hospitals. Once you identify the problem, 50% of the problem is solved. After that, you can then analyze the problems, find alternative solutions, and so on and so forth. But finding the root cause of the problem is important. So, the root cause is stated in Adewale Ademoyega's book, which he was referring to there. Why we struck. So, but then we see here today we're not trying to apportion blames and so on and so forth. But what is important is this: we are different people. So if we now kind of force us together, okay, and you're making the criteria, you're giving all of us the same criteria, you're bound to create problems. It's like saying that the fish should live on the land. See, these people, I'm talking of the northern Nigeria, are the reason why we are not having the fast growth that we are supposed to be having in that part of the world. You will see highly qualified people leaving the shores of that country, trying to find job outside of the country, and so on and so forth. And this is the reason why they kept saying, please, can you restructure the country? We want the restructuring. And I've noted one thing, and I also noted it today. When you see northerners, I'm talking of northern Nigerians, talking about the root cause of Nigeria's problems, you know what they will say? Oh, we need to make sure that there is rule of law, there is quality of leadership, and so on and so forth. They would leave the root cause of the problem and start looking for something else. And they're also likely to say that restructuring means many things to many people, which is a lie. We know what we want when we're calling for restructuring. We want each region to grow at their own pace. It's not only limited to Nigeria. It has happened before in India. India was a unitary state. In fact, that was a time when Gowon had to go there to pay teacher salaries, and that was the time he was saying that the problem of Nigeria is not money, but how to spend it. But later on in the 80s, I think 86 or so, they came to the realization that, look, there cannot be a growth here except each region grow at their pace. And they've reached that position now whereby each region controls 75% of their own wealth. So until we address that problem of each region not only growing at their own pace, they should have their own laws, they should have their own regulations. Until we address that problem, Nigeria will remain the way it is. But then they are not ready to. I'm talking of the North. Why? Because we are their cash cow. You know, they're taking all the money from us. But then it has reached a stage now where it is they're not only taking the money from Nigeria, they're also using this money to develop Nigeria Republic and so on. So the theory that I am proposing is this, in terms of the solution to this problem. The theory, it's just a proposal, it's just a theory, that until, and we're getting to that stage now, there will be a time when there couldn't be any more growth, whereby they will continue to print money like they're doing now, such that by April, the rate of exchange will be 1,000 naira to £1, until everything is gone, until oil is no longer relevant. By 2040, oil will no longer sell in the EU region. By 2030, not in the UK, it will no longer sell in the UK. By that time, then there could no longer be any growth. Then there will be restructuring. But then we don't want that to happen. If we continue this way, that is what's going to happen by 2030. Okay, so let me just stop there. But then I agree in total with what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu had said.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to put this to Ayo Ogundimu because I've let you off the hook for so long, right? We said it's 1996 coup, the genesis of Nigerian problem. Before the 1996 coup, we have regions, and the regions were doing well. Everybody were doing their own thing. The growers were growing. Everybody were. If you want to grow, you grow. If you want to go down, you go down. Your region is doing what you want, and the president is downstairs, like lawyer Dele Ogun put it, which I like. Go downstairs and stay quiet in your space, which I like. So the coup, the counter coup, and everybody keep changing things to suit themselves. And finally, they rather grab the power, and they never give it up since that time. Is that the problem? Because they're the one that writes all these constitution that we're following today, and they write it by decree. And that is could that be our problem, Ayo?
Right. Thank you very much. I will touch briefly on the past. I'm a child. I'm not, I am, born in the 60s. So I'm not. So I would defer for the real knowledge to those who lived it. I was just a product of that period. But what I can say is this. I think to say that the coup was the problem is missing a whole chunk of what really happened. We have to remember that at 1959, thereabouts, if my memories have been right from the knowledge I've been gathering together, there was some machinations around the census calculation and all of that. And all of these things was calculated to ensure that the North had more population so that they could have more representation in the seat of government. These are the things that were underlying issues that led to that 1966 coup. These are things that are not often talked about. So if people just focus on that,
you see, saying
yes,
unfairness is what leads to.
You are missing the big point. The fact is, those who took the coup out were actually people that believed in democracy, even though they were military officers and they were trained officers, and they understood when they've been to foreign countries to see how things work, and then how they were seeing that the country was being run. They were saying, this is not right. You cannot run a nation like this. Now, if you just, I don't want to go too much into that, but let's just say, for me, you can already see that for me, that's not the coup is not the genesis of our problem. There's a much more fundamental misrepresentation and unfairness that has been programmed into our system of governance from day one. And what the coup sought to do was to redress that balance once hours, and we could take control of it. But as we the counter coup and everything else, and the Biafran war, it meant that there was a cementing, and there was for the injustice. These are things that we don't want to hear, but we must hear it. There was support for injustice and oppression from foreign powers, but people won't want to talk about that. I mean, I've got a book here which I read, and I still read it. Oil and Politics and Violence. It's by a guy called Max Sillon. I think it's a book that's what people should read. If you want to understand quite a lot about that contraption, it's a book that you need to have in your library. So, but anyway, so moving on from that, and by the way, what I will say is that you could see that the regions were working well on their own. The Southwest and the Southeast, they were working really well, even with the obvious restrictions. But the enforced nature in which they wanted to impose and continue to put the pressure of this one Nigeria to stop the regions from growing, they stopped the development of the Southwest and the Southeast. They were stopped, and that is the problem. So for me, I don't think that is an issue to talk about the coup as being the beginning of everything. No, you're missing a big chunk if you're saying that. Now, I'll put that to one side. Now, in terms of the constitution of Nigeria, I'll go straight to the point, and I hope people will permit me. The matter is that the constitution that we have right now, the 1999 constitution, is a fraud. It is a fraud that was perfected on the people by those in the military. It is very important to state that. At no point were the people collectively buying into this constitution. Neither did we buy into the 1979 constitution, which initially took away the powers of our traditional kings. These are things that people are not often aware of. And there's a little side note that I want to put into into this constitution. When they drew up the 1999 constitution, they also brought in the local government areas. At that point, they did some serious injustice. You have Sokoto and other places having more local government than Lagos, and all of this. These were all military impositions. At no point was there a referendum by the people to buy in, to accept the 1999 constitution. So when we hear someone like Professor Awa Yadudu telling us that we adopted the constitution, go to any Western country, you will never see them say they are adopting a constitution. What you will hear them say is that they carried out a referendum. Adoption is not acceptance. It is important we collectively, as citizens, understand that adoption by those in power, it actually means imposition of that 1999 constitution on us. And that is the crux of our problem. Because when you have 68 items upon which the people cannot speak, they cannot converse, they cannot discuss, Decisions can be taken that will impact their lives right in their own land, and they have no say. That is an imposition. 1999 Constitution is a fraud. So if we are going to have a discussion about the coup, that is not the issue right now. The issue is the 1999 Constitution and how right now no election should take place in that construction. No election until we sort out this Constitution. We must confront this Constitution. It must be something that all parts of that contraption of Nigeria must get involved in. Write it up, adjust it, and once we've all written it and we're happy, we now carry out a referendum on it. Until such a time as that happens, any elections that we take on right now is a farce and a fraud. It's only cementing the injustice that we suffered for over the last 40, 50, 60 years. I will stop there for now. I hope that answers questions. Thank you.
Okay, Annkio Briggs, I really appreciate you, what you talked about. Let's go back to my sister again. You had a submission during this morning program. You have two submissions, one the rounding up submission and one before. I would like to touch on the rounding up. But before then, there's something that a lady, Charity Shakiri, said that I will probably, if my back office can actually show Charity Bakiri's submission quickly, because she was a little bit angry, maybe out of context, maybe what she's supposed to do. Let's have a look at it.
Charity, quickly, Charity Shakari, please. Can you quickly unmute yourself? Okay.
Yeah. Good day, everyone. When you are on the table of talking about never again, I think never again is about never again. And then when we are discussing about never again, then people like Kanu come, people like Onyeka come to say they want to go. Who is going to pet you to stop going where you're going to go? For crying out loud, we are all having issues in this country, and we have come here to say never again. So no one has the monopoly of anger, of wanting to leave. Every one of us has one or two or three or more issues that we are talking about. Please, come on. Let's come off this thing of Igbos constantly threatening the whole country. They are going to go. They are going to go. When you have a child who is always telling you he wants to go, there is a day he will go and may come back like the prodigal son. Secondly, if we are here talking about never again, why do the Igbos always talk about the North? The North. Must they revert to the North? Is the North their ruler or their controller? Please, let's go and reassess how we are going to stay together properly and stop this victim mentality. I am from the Middle Belt. I am called that I'm a Northerner. I have issues too, but please, when we come to talk and we join to all talk together, then some people now stick their necks out and start talking like ostriches and start talking also. It doesn't make us feel happy to come onto a platform that says never again. Please, I am stating this again.
Okay, I'm going to stop the lady there. I want a lady to respond to a lady. Because my sister is quiet there. I'm sure she's burning within herself. What do you have to say to the lady?
Well, I mean, pardon?
What do you have to say to her?
Well, if you recall, I was in that I was in that discussion as well. But very quickly, let me make a very quick reference to when I speak about the historical facts of Nigeria, I am actually referring to the fact that, well, if you were born during certain historical facts, then you speak from the position of not what you have read, I have nothing against, definitely brilliant people read about histories going back centuries. But we're talking, when I make reference earlier on to the fact of the history of where I am coming from, at least, it's not to put down people who have the historical facts of Nigeria like I also do, but to highlight the point that there is a difference between reading about historical facts and actually having lived through them. Now, having said that, the lady, that was her second intervention,
Yeah.
actually, I believe, in that, yes, in that program, and I was actually surprised by her response or her reaction to Onyeka's position and Nnamdi Kalu's position, which they are utterly entitled to, and her position actually shows very clearly the problem that is in Nigeria, and shows very clearly that the problem in Nigeria is so much into being in its own compartment. The depending on where you come from and depending on what you believe in and what you're prepared to protect and what you're prepared to defend and what you're actually prepared to destroy, even, because Onyeka's position, Onyeka made it very clear, and like many of us do, that it is not an issue. Our first port of call have never been, even as a child growing up before independence, I actually haven't seen independence, even as a little girl who was born in England and was brought to Nigeria when my parents came back, when my father finished his studies and came back. Now, coming from that type of background, definitely my own identity is an Ijaw identity. My own identity is something I hold dearly onto, and I do appreciate that other people do. And if they don't, I will advise that they should hold on to. So Onyeka's position, Nnamdi Kalu's position, or any other person's position is not it's not a position that is supposed to divide Nigeria. But you see, if my survival as an Ijaw person is now dependent on me not being a Nigerian, then quite honestly, I have no choice. It will have to be that I will rather prefer to be a non-Nigerian and an Ijaw that is surviving as a non-Nigerian than an Ijaw that is going to be destroyed and consumed by being a Nigerian. And so there lies our major problem. The fact that people think that they can impose their will and prove to us, myself as an Ijaw person, that somebody else who is not an Ijaw person can become a better Nigerian by proving to me that I am a bad Nigerian because I am prepared to be an Ijaw person first before I'm a Nigerian. Quite honestly, that is our history. Our history is that I am indeed an Ijaw person before I became a Nigerian. And as a matter of fact, I was forced by history and by the historical facts. I was forced to be a Nigerian because I was and am an Ijaw person before Lugard amalgamated the northern and southern ethnic nationality and brought them into Nigeria for the purpose economic the economic interest of the British colonial government. So when I was watching that lady, I was just very certain that there is no other way out for us in Nigeria than, first of all, standing up as the people that we are, which is the Igbo standing up for who they are, the Yoruba standing up for who they are, the TV people, whoever. If you're proud of who you are and you want to maintain who you are, you must be free to do so. You cannot be forced to be a Nigerian first before you are a Yoruba person, because that's the reversal of who you are. You are and were and are and will continue to be, I believe, a Yoruba person before you became a Nigerian person. So that lady's intervention showed very clearly that either Nigeria has reached just the end of the cliff, or we just have to stop at that cliff and find a solution to the problem. I was horrified I was not horrified physically, but I was just horrified that we have not even begun to get it right in Nigeria when you have that type of thinking.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah, thank you for observing the house rule as well. Can I ask a good question? We're 4 in the house today. We're 5 in the house today. I will be the judge, so I will not get involved with the voting. If I said to you today there's a referendum and there's going to be a vote in the house today, how would you vote? Let me go to Dr. Kwasi. To stay in Nigeria or to leave Nigeria, Dr. Kwasi?
To leave Nigeria, without doubt.
Okay. Lawyer Dele?
It will be to leave without hesitation.
Okay. If I go to my sister, if you had to vote in the referendum today to leave or to stay in Nigeria, what will you vote for?
Definitely to leave.
Ayo, your vote will not count because the majority carry the votes. If you have to vote in Nigeria today, what will you vote to do? To leave or to stay?
Leave. Leave. L-E-A-V-E. Leave.
Okay.
I'm going.
Can I rephrase the question for the purpose of fairness? If you had to vote in a referendum today and they said, leave Nigeria or restructure Nigeria, I will start with you, Ayo. Which one will you take? Leave Nigeria
I will leave
or restructure Nigeria?
Leave.
Leave. Okay, let me go to Sister Briggs. What will you do? Restructure or leave Nigeria?
Personally, as one voice, definitely to leave.
Let me go to Mr. Dele Ogun. If you have the choice either to leave or to do a referendum, what will you do today?
You've changed the question for me. You said to the others, leave or restructure. Now you've changed mine to leave or referendum.
We understand question better than anybody else.
We listen very carefully.
I like your style.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have a referendum today, how will you vote? Either to leave or to restructure Nigeria. Which one will you choose? Have I still changed the question again?
Okay. It's better. It's clearer now. And I should preface my comments first by saying I'm now Mrs. Briggs' friend because she expressed my position very, very well, which is that I am Yoruba before I am Nigerian. And my preferred position is to be Yoruba and Nigerian, rather than Yoruba or Nigerian. They're forcing us to choose between Yoruba and Nigeria. So the answer, slightly long answer to your question is this. My position is Yoruba nation within Nigeria, if possible, or else Yoruba nation out of Nigeria. I hope that's clear.
Okay, that's very clear. Dr. Posi Olatibosun, how will you vote today in a referendum? To leave Nigeria or to restructure Nigeria?
I believe the restructuring that you're referring to is to have a strong federation. If that is what is on the table, I would vote leave. However, if it is restructuring whereby each of the region, it will be if it is a confederacy, I can vote for a stronger Nigeria. If it's a confederacy where each of the regions are retaining like 80% of the powers. Other than that, I don't want a federal, strong-centered Nigeria. I would prefer, if that's the restructuring, I would prefer that Yoruba goes it alone.
So you would prefer a restructuring that the federal is going to be downstairs in the basement?
Precisely. Precisely.
Out of curiosity, you both live in the UK, doctor and lawyer. You both live in the UK. Can I ask you one question? How did you vote in the last European election? Did you vote to leave or to stay, Dr. Posi?
I actually voted to stay.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that during that period, I was deeply involved in economic analysis and so on. And I knew that this country will be worse off economically if we leave the EU. So that was the reason why I voted to stay within the EU.
Okay, let me go to lawyer Delina. How did you vote in the last European election? If you don't mind me asking.
I did not vote.
You did
yes,
not vote.
I did not vote.
Okay.
Either way, and I'll tell you the reason.
Okay, what's the reason?
I'll tell you the reason. I was the favorite speaker of the Eurosceptics. If you Google my name, you'll find the speeches I used to give to Eurosceptic audiences who became the Brexiteers. And those speeches were based on sharing lessons from the tragedy of Nigeria Union and drawing the parallels with the European Union. So the Brexiteers learned a lot from the Nigerian experience. So ideologically, I was against the concept of political union.
Okay.
Now, the reason I did not vote was this. I wanted the British who imposed what they were running away from, that political union which they're running away from in Europe, but imposed it upon us. I wanted them to have a taste of their own medicine, that you can't impose political union on the nations of Nigeria and you want to stand alone from a voluntary union in Europe. So you could see how my ideology conflicted with my emotions. That ideologically, I like nations to be in charge of their own affairs. They're the best judge of their own interests. But emotionally, I wanted the British who imposed political union on us to enjoy political union with its fellow Europeans and not to run away from them.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So, in essence, what you might want to do before that, let me go through this one with my audience at home quickly. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Ade Thomas and you're watching Heritage Television. No matter the platform you're watching this program from, please like that platform. CitienAY, Oduduwa, Koiki, Heritage, anywhere you're watching it from. Yoruba Kingdom TV, Crystal, anywhere you're watching it from, please like that platform, because you will get more and more things from there. And again, if you're watching it on YouTube, on any platform YouTube, because this will be made available to other people's platform as well, so that the information can go. We're not keeping this information to ourselves. We want the information to go everywhere so that more people can learn and share and take from this. But I have a job. I have a proposal for Lawyer Dele Ogun. If we can start organizing some training section online for Yoruba people, so that we can boost them on how they will behave when we get Yoruba Nation. Will you be willing to be part of that?
Yes, I'm a Yoruba nationalist. I believe in the Yoruba Nation.
Okay. Dr. Kwasi can do that as well. And I will probably ask you the same question. If we manage to organize conferences, maybe online or physical conference, will you be able to commit some of your time to educate our people on how to get the best out of Yoruba Nation when we finally get it? You will be joined by Baba Alex Ajala, who has a lot of information as well that we might probably be able to put together. I'm sure my sister from Niger Delta as well, which my sister, my very dear sister, my lady. Every time I see this woman, I just look at her and I said, this woman, I wonder what she will look like when she's 90 years old. She will still look like a baby. It's been wonderful having you guys on the show tonight. Recapping on tomorrow's event. In the morning, we have Tony Nandi in the house from 11 o'clock UK time. And then 3 o'clock, we will be going to the Fatherland conference, which is at 3 o'clock. You need to register for that one. And actually, Lawyer Dele wrote a book. The book is called The Fatherless People. The Fatherless People. You might want to, the secret story of how the Nigerians missed the road to the promised land. How they missed the road. They missed the road to the promised land, which is a big, mighty shame when you miss the road to the promised land. And there are 3 generals there that probably orchestrated it. One is Babangida, another one is Obasanjo, and the third one is Sani Abacha. I think Sani Abacha name sound like a butcher, you know. Maybe that's why he's behaving the way he was behaving when he was in power. Abacha, a butcher, right? Because I understand so many people get killed during his regime, and that was very, very, very training. Yes, training. Yeah. Sister, we're going to be training people on how to be a better citizen. We want to start calibrate. I want people to start recalibrating our head, so that we will know what is wrong and what is right. When you do something wrong and they want to reprimand you, don't come and say, Ejosa. We will not take that. There's no Ejosa. Yeah. If you can do the crime, you must be able to do the time. There's no pleading and pleading and pleading. Yoruba people are fond of that. We're fond of that. When you do something wrong, then you come and say, I'm begging you in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. I'm begging you in the name, please. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. That's not going to happen, right? I'm not saying Christ will not play a role, but we don't want you to come, Mofoyabe, I beg you in the name of I beg you in your mother's head. No, that's not going to work. So we need to start recalibrating things so that we know how to behave better. Lawyer Dele, if people want to get hold of this book, how can they get availability?
Yes. You can get it on either Amazon either .com or .co.uk, or you go to my personal website, deliogun.com.
Yeah.
deliogun.com. Either way, you get it.
Okay. As a courtesy tonight, I don't want my sister to buy this book. I will be begging. I said no begging. Or I will be making a courtesy copy available for my sister. I don't know how she's going to get it, but we will have it. We will Heritage Television, in conjunction with the lawyer, will make it available to you. So all you will have to do is to find a way to get it across to you. If you know anybody coming over to Nigeria, please send them to me.
Oh, the book is in Nigeria.
The book is in
Nigeria.
The book is in
Nigeria. Let's speak afterwards. You could get it from Roving Heights.
I want a signed copy.
Okay.
I want a signed copy.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, now that we're friends, I think we can arrange that.
Okay, we can arrange that, yeah? And, I'm going to be tempted to open the line for about 10 to 15 minutes so that people can actually call to ask questions. But before question time, there are some events coming up tomorrow. I've mentioned Tony Namdi that will be at 11 o'clock UK time. There will be the Fatherland Conference at 3 o'clock. You need to register for that. Lawyer Dele, if they want to register for that conference, talk us through registration and all the other rest.
All right, it's very simple. The web address is Fatherland Group, one word, fatherlandgroup.org, O-R-G. fatherlandgroup.org. As soon as you hit that, on the homepage, you see the link for registration.
Okay, and that conference, what are people stand to gain? What do they need to come with? Do they need to come with pen and paper? Do they need to come with dancing shoes?
As soon as you register, you will get a program, and it contains a chronology of key events that's shaped the Igbo and Yoruba relationship. It contains the profile of all the speakers, which include Professor Banji Akitoye and also Professor Emmanuel Nwanze, as well as myself and the Timothy C. Modu Jr. And then there's Entertainment Act. On the Yoruba side, we have Ion the First, the master talking drummer. Yes, Mr. Culture. And on the Igbo side, we have Amarachi, I've forgotten her surname now, the beautiful Igbo songstress. And then there's a fantastic DJ that performs afterwards. But the serious stuff starts at 3 o'clock, and the event finishes at 6.
Okay, so if we finish the event straight at 6, we can now go straight on to the Yoruba Nation Now conference as well, which is if you go to yorubanation.now.org, yorubanation.now.org, you can find all the information there that you can use to register. I want to pray for my father, one of my father who's supposed to be on this program today. He wasn't feeling fine. That is why he couldn't make it. I pray for a speedy recovery. My heart goes out to you, sir, and I want God to protect you and keep you safe, because you've done a lot for these things we're doing. On Saturday, we have some few things going on, and if you're a Christian, there's a nightly prayer at 11 o'clock that you might actually watch on Heritage Television as well. And then on Saturday, we have the legal hour coming in at 12 o'clock, 12 midday UK time, and at 2 o'clock, I believe Dr. Posi has arranged to take on Professor Banji Akintoye right on Heritage. It won't be on Zoom again. It will be on Heritage Television. So if anybody wants to be part of that, no, sorry, my mouth. Dr. Posi has arranged to take on Pa Ayo Adebanjo on Saturday, the 16th at 2 o'clock UK time. And that's going to be something you don't want to miss. And that will be available on our platform as well. And before we go, should we take the last word, or should we watch Annkio Briggs' submission on that conference to see what she says there? Maybe it's another time to vote, but the problem is 3 people cannot vote. If 3 people vote, how are we going to find the winner? That is the problem. It might be something that might come to being terrible. So if the people in the back office, if you just give me 2 minutes, 2 hours, 11 minutes and 56 seconds on your dial. Let's see what my sister said. 2 hours, 11 minutes, 56 seconds on the dial. And let's watch she said there.
An Ijaw person and as a Southerner. I speak as someone who experienced the war. I was a teenager when Ojukwu declared the Biafran state. And I'm very much aware of why the war was fought. I describe the war as a war of revenge, if you like, against what happened during the first coup, as Franco Yakasaya very well detailed, and even calling the names of the people that were involved. Now, one person's experience in the war, especially if you were caught up in the war during the in the eastern part of Nigeria, your experience, for instance, in Enugu, does not make my experience in Port Harcourt a lie. It is just that there are experiences that we experience differently at different locations of the war. Now, having said that, it's a different view when people react to the war, the stories of the war, from second to third-hand information, because we don't have historical facts documented and taught in our school. So these are all part of the problems. But I would really, because of time, I would want to fast forward the experience of the war to where we are today. That the fact that Bowen said that there is no vanquished and no winner, that's not true. That's a big lie. There was, and still remains, and the way the Igbos are treated, there is a winner and there is a loser. You cannot say that people who you made to use 20 pounds, whatever the equivalent, the name of the money was at that time, that people who had millions, even billions in their account, were only entitled to 20 pounds of whatever value it was. You can't say that people like that are not going to feel that they lost the war. Now, fast forwarding it to the political situation in Nigeria today. The political situation is saying, and I have said this, that first of all, the North, the way the North is projecting itself, it has no ideas of giving up power in 2023. If it does, you will not have people of northern origin like El-Rufai saying that they want to contest for presidency after Buhari has done 8 years, that a northerner will now contest again because that is fair. No, it is not fair. It must be ceded. Each political party must cede it to the South. And who in the South? The Yorubas have done 8 years. The Niger Delta people under Jonathan have done 5 years, 4 actually, if you consider that he was only elected for 1 tenure. Now, so if it's going to go to anybody for equity and justice, it has to go to the Southeast. That is my personal position that I am canvassing amongst my own people. Because if we go into 2023 election and we don't have a new constitution, and we we have not restructured Nigeria, then we're wasting our time. Now, the very last point I would want to put across is the fact that people are saying they want to leave. I believe in that concept, depending on the argument, depending on where you're coming from. If people are frustrated enough, and we all are at different times, the Niger Delta people, my people raised arms against Nigerian government in the 2000, leading all the way up to 2009, when they accepted amnesty. Now, if you're coming from that angle, we've done everything. We've even brought the economy of Nigeria down. So if my people now feel that the only way is out, then you have to discuss from that platform. If Igbo feels that they don't want, then you have to discuss with them from that angle. So when people come on forums like we have now and make us to feel, whether it is Igbo, whether it is a Niger Delta ethnic nationalities, Urhobo, Shekiri, make us to feel as if we are the problem of Nigeria. No, Nigeria is actually the problem of my people, because there is great injustice. You cannot continue to sustain 36 states if you take away the oil producing states. Take all their oil, share it amongst people who produce nothing, and then say that this is about one Nigeria. No, it is not about one Nigeria. We must do something about the constitution if we truly believe that we want to fix Nigeria. That if we don't want to fix Nigeria, that's also okay with us. Let us discuss how we're going to move forward, whether that moving forward means within or without Nigeria. I don't know whether I'm still within my space or not, but I think that's where I'm going to
time now. So I'm going to take it away from you quickly there. Guys, the line is now open just for 5 minutes left before we actually, maybe we should close it, because it's actually 21:29 here, which means we only got 1 minute left. If anybody can jump in and ask a question quickly in 1 minute, I will probably take that. Otherwise, I'm going to start taking last remark on the show today. And before we go to last remark, I'll probably put my remark in so that they can actually use my own remark to shape their own remark. First of all, whatever you do, you are a product of your land first, before your country. As a Yoruba person, as an Ijaw person, as an Hausa person, as a Fulani person, if you don't look after your own ethnic community, your ethnic community might finish to exist. This is what they're planning in Nigeria. So look after yourself first, and every other thing can follow. I would like to thank all my guests tonight on the show. It's been a beautiful day for me. It's been a beautiful day because I've been on so many programs today that I'm even thinking I've spent about 12 hours on programs already today. So let's go to Dr. Kwasi Olatibosun for your closing remarks, sir. Don't forget to unmute your microphone.
Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. As I've said, I do take a decision-making approach to solving problems. So the root problem of this country is injustice. The Constitution is the problem. So we have people who are not interested in restructuring, but they would prefer fake population counts. They prefer a quota system. They prefer revenue allocation, and so on and so forth. And of course, you can see where this is leading us to. We are on a slippery slope. And as I've said before, if this continues, what's going to happen is that a time will come when there will be nothing to share. There will only be printing of currencies. But we don't want this to continue. And that's why we are encouraging our people to support the constitutional force measure, and let us end this union of death once and for all. A situation where you are training your own children to go to school, but some people are investing in simply procreating like rats to take over your land, to kill you, to destroy you. It's not going to work. So I would say to you that please take this into consideration. support the constitutional force major. Let us kill Nigeria before Nigeria kills us. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much for that. I'm going to go to Lawyer Dele. Your last submission. Please don't forget to sell your program for tomorrow.
Yes, thank you. Very simply, the Fatherland Group believes in a federation of ethnic groups, not a federation of states, a federation of ethnic groups, as we are big and small. No ethnic group is too small to be a federating unit. No ethnic group is too large to be a federating unit. That is our simple formula. That is what restructuring means for us. So we are a multi-ethnic group. Tomorrow's event is the first step in repairing relationships between Nigeria's ethnic groups. We're starting first with the Igbo and the Yoruba relationship. It's a fractured relationship. Tomorrow's event would explain how it became fractured and how it will be repaired. Once that is repaired, the Fatherland Group will turn its attention to the repairing of other relations, broken relations between the ethnic groups that make up Nigeria. So please join us tomorrow as a first step, 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Go to our website, fatherlandgroup.org, click and register, and see you live tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Great, thank you very much for that. I'm going to go to Ayo Ogundimu now. Your closing submission on this one, Ayo. I think I've lost him there. Mr. Ogundimu, are you there? Okay, let's go to my sister, who's going to be the, when you want to do things properly, you let the lady in the house to do things last. They tidy the house, they clear the house, they make sure everything look good. So she's going to make this one good for us. And then we're going to be closing after this one. Over to you, Mom.
Thank you very much. And thank you, gentlemen. I have actually enjoyed interacting with you. Now, I believe that it's a choice now. We truly have a choice to make. All of us, some of us are lucky to live outside. Some of us are lucky to have experienced the things that we're fighting for our people, because we know that it is possible. I definitely believe that the way things are in Nigeria today, and having experienced Nigeria for nearly, I'm going to 70 years now. Definitely, we have reached a point where we must make a decision for the survival of our people. There is nothing selfish about that. It is an issue of survival. Nigeria was created. Nigeria is a nation that was created by a human being. The Ijos, the Yorubas, the Igbos, Efiks, all these ethnic nationalities of over nearly 300 ethnic nationalities, if not more, were nationalities in their own rights. They remain nationalities of Nigeria in their own rights. I think it will be wrong as an Ijo person for me to continue to watch and see that my people are going to be destroyed, and that there is a likelihood of no future for my grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So if we cannot live together, then we have to find a way to live apart. Thank you very much.
Great. On that note, we would like to say, no, Ayo is back. Ayo, your final say on the program, sir.
Okay. Thank you. It's been a pleasure meeting Mrs. Briggs and my learned brothers and lawyer and the accountants. And it's been engaging in discussion with all of them. I've learned so much. We are all here speaking about one particular issue. That is that that contraption called Nigeria is no longer sustainable. Here's something I want to put into the mix. Our ancestors, their blood was shed, their bloods were shed on the altar of the creation of one Nigeria. Our ancestors, our task, this generation's task, is to redeem their blood. And the best way we can do that is to walk towards the separation so that we all, gravitate back towards our ancestral land, our ancestral greatness, and allow each of us and our generations to come to reach their true potential within their own nations. What we have now is a slave camp. Be in no doubt about that. What we have now is a slave camp, and it falls on our shoulders that we potential in their own, use natural resources, God-given natural resources beneath their feet to achieve that. So for me, I want to thank everybody, and I want to thank Ade Thomas for bringing me on this show at last minute. And it's a privilege to speak to all of you all on the show, and I'd love to do this again. Let's all continue going forward towards this Oduduwa nation, Biafra nation. We cannot. Nigeria is unworkable and unsustainable. It isn't. It's no longer workable. That's what I have to say. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Thank you.
Nigeria is unworkable, unsustainable. You are Yoruba first before you are Nigeria. You are an Ijaw man and woman before you become Nigeria. So fight for your freedom. Don't wait until everything consumes you. On this note, I would like to thank everybody who has honored this program, who has commented. I know the comments are flying. I don't know how you people type it. On YouTube, on Facebook, we have over 600 comments. I don't know how you did that. And on YouTube, I couldn't count down. That's uncountable. I can't believe it. 1,489 comment on Facebook. 1,489. I couldn't believe it. The only thing you let me down is with the like on YouTube. 177 people watching, only 46 likes. That is appalling. Does it mean you didn't enjoy what we did tonight? If you didn't enjoy it, please give us a thumb down so that we can improve on it next time. But if you enjoy it, please give us a thumb up. I know someone said to me, a lot of people don't know how to do YouTube like. Don't say I tell you. They say we are not educated enough to like on YouTube, because you have to close the chat first before you can like it. If you know how to do it, I could see some fingers like hitting the like button. I want to thank everybody, even if I don't mind mentioning them. I'm just going to run down some few names. David Adegoke, thank you. Ayo Flex, Sandra, Ify, Peter, Kennedy, Lola, and all the rest. Toyin's there. Wow. Peter again. Lothar, Emmanuel, Ishe, Akin, Kingsley, Taibath, Michael, and so many other. Emeka, if I didn't mention your name, it's nothing to do with you personally. It's just my glasses don't know how to read something too close. On this note, I want to say a very big thank you to all of you once more. And until tomorrow, 11 o'clock with Tony Nnamdi. Good night, everybody. And don't have nightmare tonight, please. Stay safe away from coronavirus. Bye-bye.